Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great Tuesday and a very productive week. So, if you're new here, my name is Fatema El-Wakeel. I know I had a couple of new connections over the past few weeks, which is brilliant. I'm a data strategy evangelist. I do this literally day in, day out. I do that in industry, but I also do that in academia. Um, and I'm super passionate about data, which is why I make sure to share that through different, really resources that I'm grateful to have. So today, I'm live on LinkedIn and on YouTube. With that, let me just check that it went live on LinkedIn because I had a couple of connection issues and I had to completely restart. But yeah, I am live. So if you're watching me live on LinkedIn or on YouTube, please say hello from where you're joining. That episode will also be recorded, so feel free to put your comments in. And it will be on the podcast on both Spotify and Apple Podcast. And with that, let me just really dive straight in. So I was thinking about this episode for a while now because September is coming to an end. Well, it's literally 30th today. October is starting tomorrow. And with that, I think organizations and individuals, so I'll have a separate session professionally on the winter arc. But it's something that I think I've been doing for several years now in my career, in my roles. And I've seen different organizations do things very differently. And because the last three of the month, for me, I feel like it's always nice to end on a very high note. And the last 3 months can really shape things around. They can, yes, end the year on a high note, but also start the next year on a very high note. Which is why the last quarter of the year, I feel, is very important. So across the years, I've seen organizations doing things differently. And I've seen organizations where towards the end of the year, they kind of slow down a bit. And the productivity is not the same. But I've also seen other organizations which make the best use of those 90 days, especially in December when things, it goes a bit quiet, Christmas is coming, and some organizations really make use that a lot of the people are on holiday, and then it's like, oh, how can we reshape things move things around? And having worked at the university, I'm very fortunate to see the different organization and what they do. So what I would start, if you're really looking at those 3 months, think about in 2025, we've seen so much working in this profession. We've seen AI being reshaped, different versions, newer versions, agentic AI. We've seen digital twins. We've seen success cases that were super successful across different organizations and across different industries as well. But really, the main challenge we faced has always been scaling that. So scaling emerging tech, scaling data, scaling the data products has always been a challenge. And in 2025, I've spoken to so many professionals, and it has been consistent, saying like the key thing is really the scaling. The tech is there. But also, a lot of organizations are stuck in pilot. So they're doing this pilot, different pilot cases, which is amazing to start to use AI and agentic AI and using digital twins with AI and process twinning. And it's like so cool. But those are just pilots. Are you able to scale those pilots? So think about reflecting on that. Also, the main winners when it comes to data and emerging techs are the organizations where they were able to govern and change the culture. Culture is key. if you don't have a strong data culture, you can't really deliver that strong. And you can't really scale the projects that you have. So I think looking at 2025, I would say, please think about your data foundations and trust your data, because as much as the shiny data, shiny tech is really super cool to be able to say, we've done this and we've done that. But if you don't have the data right, if you don't have the foundations right, you're never going to build something on top of it. So, and also I'd love to hear from you what worked really well for your teams this year. Hi, Atif. Just seen your message. Yeah, please, if you're joining online, just say hello, where you're joining from. So, in 2025, I'd love to know what worked really well for you and your teams. So, it'd be interesting to hear that. So, the first thing I'd say, yes, during the last 3 months, reflect on what you've really done in 2025. The second bit is to reframe and really focus on what to do in those 3 months. Like, look at quick wins. What would give you the highest ROI? What would get your stakeholder, to be interested, to have the buy-in? We work as a team, and it also helps you secure this 2026 budget, because it's always been a challenge to, like, especially with the data and emerging tech, is this funding and the budget. And those 3 months can be really key. And also align I think one of the things that I learned over the years when reframing over those 3 months, or thinking about those 3 months, is what are the business outcomes? What is the business strategy? And I would normally see within the last 3 months the shift, because we're shifting to the next year. There are changes in the strategy across the organizations in general. And then you see like the direction for next year is X or Y, or we're focusing on sales, or we're focusing on operations, or we're focusing on this or that. That new product is coming out. And this helps a lot over the 3 months, because you're literally looking at demonstrating quick wins, looking at ROI, aligning to the strategy. And I've also seen organizations. So I've seen for different organizations how they treat, I guess, how do you call it? Failed pilots. I personally love those, like, because I feel like there's a lot of lessons learned. But some organizations like, okay, the pilots, if they failed, we're not speaking about them. We're not selling them. That's it. Pilot has failed. We're not speaking about it. We're just going to focus on highlights, key wins. And I personally love those, like, lesson learned from the pilots that were not successful for a reason or the other. And the failed pilots, I feel like I would actually mention them even in the wrap up. Like, I've been in an organization where at the end of the year, you would have to really kind of showcase what you've done through the years within your area, within the year within your area, across the team. Everyone's like, what's the successes? What's the learning? And I always love to kind of say, like, you know what? We've had those pilots and we've done this, this, and that using AI or digital twins or data, and we've tried to do this and that, and it didn't work. And we know why it didn't work. And this is the reason why it didn't work. And going into next year, that's the plan. So not to fail again because of the same issues. So I think this is really a learning. And I personally feel like those are the things that at the end of the year, when I'm looking at successes, I think the things that were not very successful, we decided not to continue. I definitely feel like those are really important to mention. So it's not really about finishing everything and being successful when it comes to winter arc, or at the end of 2025. It's really about positioning and the momentum to 2026. How can I get into 2026 at a high note at the end of 2025, but start 2026 very strong? So that's the second thing. So what we did is we reflected on 2025, we reframed and positioned, thought about the strategy, thought about the quick wins. And then the third bit is recharge. Those 3 months, the team is exhausted. We've been working throughout the whole year, delivering. That doesn't mean to stop delivering, but it's more about looking at the teams, the skill set. how now can we recharge to start stronger? So things like the structure of the team. Do you need the same team structure? Do you need AI literacy? Do you need storytelling in your team? Do you have to reposition? Do you need architecture? Do you need data engineering? Do you need data science? AI. So, and also looking at the governance and the ethics. One of the things, so I was in Big Data London this week? No, last week. And one of the key things is the data governance. It's not such a topic where people are like, oh, I'm so passionate about it because it's just so, it is so challenging, the data governance. But seriously, it is the key, it's the foundation. If we don't have the right data culture, the data governance, we can never build the right AI. So reinforce this trust framework. Look at your data governance. Are you governing the data right? Do you have the right catalogs, dictionaries? Do you understand your data? Are you using it right? Are you using AI to support your data governance? Because that is like a two-way thing. Like the AI can't work without the data governance, but also data governance can be hugely improved by AI. And then, so think about, as I said, teams, skill set, governance. And then the other thing is culture. And do you have the right data culture? Do you have the right energies within the team? Do you celebrate progress? Do you have the right data literacy wider beyond the data team across the organization? Do you have the right support, the right buy-in? Are people passionate about data? Do they understand data? Do they understand tech? Do they understand that tech can't work without the data? So those are the things where it's really important when you're recharging, recharging those batteries and emphasizing the importance of those things. So I want you to think about, what will you recharge during this winter arc? What would you change the batteries and do something different to make sure that 2026 is super successful? And you have 3 months to do that. That's a lot of time. So, as I said, for me, 3 things over the next 3 months. Reflect, think about 2025, reflect on it, learn about all the lessons, reframe, think about those quick wins, the change in the data strategy for 2026, and then the last bit is to recharge. Make sure that you have enough energy to enter 2026 really strong. So this is just really thinking about this kind of how to make the best use of 2025 or the winter arc. And I'd want to say something. Just think about it this way. The last 90 days aren't just a close. You're not just closing the year. You're actually shaping the next chapter. You're shaping you are shaping the whole year, the whole next year. Your winter arc starts now. Like tomorrow is the 1st of October. So good luck, and I'd love to leave you on a high note and make sure that you're super recharged and super, energetic and excited about that start. With the 1st of October tomorrow, I'll do definitely another session about professionally as well. Personally, how can you recharge to make sure that your 2026 career is really also super successful? So with that, I wish you all the best for this winter arc. I'll see you again soon online. If you're watching this episode on, if you're not watching live and it is recorded, whenever you're watching it, you can always do it, whether it's the 1st of October or in the middle of the winter arc. Just think about it this way. You can shape it whenever you're starting now. So good luck and have a great evening. See you hopefully soon.